Filming now.
Didn't you hear action?
Action.
When I say action in my mind, that means you're supposed to be recording. Some training for future voiceover artists and stuff like that. So you want me to take that? Or do you need that?
Whatever.
Let's just set that down. Unless you want it.
It's for me to have in between takes.
Yes. I didn't know if you needed it to, while I'm talking to you, to
Grace
cuddle or
on
something. Okay. So,
I'm okay.
So here's some things. So let's take something simple. Talk to me about something you don't know about.
Taxes, just kidding.
Taxes. About filling out 1040 forms.
Don't know anything about that.
Okay. How about soccer?
That there's a ball involved.
There's a ball involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. So you need to not, this is going to be a bit funny for you. You need to not like sit there and go, oh my gosh, what you're showing me, now I'm really self-conscious about it, because in real life, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. In voiceover stuff, it kind of does.
Okay.
So put your hands over your ears like this, right? And tell me something about your child.
My daughter is almost 4, and she's amazing.
Okay, good. Now what I want you to do is, like you're talking now.
Yeah.
Do it again. My daughter is almost 4 and she's amazing. And sense where the sound is coming from inside your body.
My daughter is almost 4, and she is amazing. Okay.
Right. It's probably coming up in here.
Yeah.
Good. Now I want you to say it again, and this time I want you to have it, like kind of have it so it comes out your throat.
Okay.
And then I want you to listen to the difference.
My daughter is 4 years old, and she's amazing.
Hear the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I want you to push it down. Here's your lungs.
Okay.
Right below your lungs. My daughter is 4. My daughter is 4. My daughter is 4. Take a breath. And just, you don't have to hold it. Just take a nice, easy breath.
Uh-huh.
And then have it come, like just push it all down and have it come from here in your gut and listen to how it sounds.
My daughter is 4, and she's amazing.
Do you hear the difference?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is the microphone picks up, it doesn't care. It picks up everything, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't care. It doesn't get your emotion. It doesn't get anything. So the difference between the sound, which is coming out of my nose right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the sound, which is coming out of my throat right now, and the sound, which is coming out of my diaphragm or my gut, the microphone goes, yeah, that sounds better, right? So when you're talking, you can hear the difference when you hold it over your ears. When you're talking, you kind of just, take a breath, and then you just kind of concentrate on speaking from your diaphragm or down here, and it will change your voice dramatically on this little cheek butt do that we're using to record your voice, just as a demonstration, right?
I remember that from when I was in drama. Because you had to get your voice to project. And they would sit in the very, very last row of the auditorium, and you had to get that voice all the way out. So we talked about talking from your diaphragm.
Right.
I just don't apply it anymore.
No, of course not, because our ears are not this. This doesn't care.
Yeah.
Our ears adjust, like our eyeballs, our eyeballs go focus, focus, focus. The camera goes, and it's the same with these.
Yeah.
Like you're talking, you're talking, you're talking. You could still hear everyone, but when you listen to it on a microphone's like, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
Where your ears just adjust, right?
Auto-adjust.
Like we tune out things too with our ears, like the AC and the cars driving by or anything. They just automatically get tuned out. This thing just goes, I'll record the hell out of the cars driving by, and you listen to it and you're like, wow, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
So when you're talking, you try and talk from here.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. And the other thing is, there's this. I'm not going to say it's entirely false, but there's a somewhat false idea that you take a deep breath, couple deep breaths, before you start talking, right? And what that does is it relaxes you. Maybe. I'm not going to discount it. But what actually happens is if you don't breathe, like people get antsy or they get nervous or whatever, and about, depending on the person, 50 to 60 to 70% of that, because their brain is being starved for oxygen.
Yeah.
So they start like getting antsy and they start talking faster and everything else just because they're not breathing. And you get this, well, take deep breaths and relax. No. You take breaths so your brain has some oxygen in it. Your brain doesn't go, you better hurry up or I'm going to die soon. And they die on the phone, right?
Yeah.
So you just relax and you talk from here. And the other thing, and this is kind of hard if you're not used to it, but you've been in drama stuff, so you get talking that way, is if you talk here, if I talk here, then what will happen is all the words will get here and maybe most of them, right?
Yeah.
If I talk to that yellow thing, then all the words are going to fly right through the microphones and over there. Theoretically, they're not actually flying words.
I wish they were, yeah.
So what happens is your voice tends to be, doesn't tend to go up and down a bit, right? Like if I'm standing here and I'm talking to you, like this, and you could totally hear me, but if I were actually talking to Nathan, he'd be like, dude, what the hell's going on here, right? But if I were standing here and I decided to talk to Nathan also and include him in the conversation, so it just tends to push the sound and level it out a little bit, right?
Got it, yeah.
Okay. Then the other thing is, you may do or not do some of these things. That's okay. I'm just giving you some little advices and training of things I went over. You may be like, I was in drama class, get out of here. Again, concentrating on the microphone and speaking to the microphone, I'm going to talk like this because the microphone is recording my voice, as opposed to having the microphone here, which is kind of weird. Concentrating on Nathan, I'm going to talk to Nathan. Good afternoon, Nathan. As opposed to sitting here and going, oh, good afternoon, microphone. Anyway, those are some tips.
Okay.
Can you build me?
Oh, and here's another tip. When you're doing voiceovers or you're doing recording or something, hang signs up so people don't come in and bother you. You're fired!
I got fired today too, don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Good. So that's basically, those are kind of the basics of doing this stuff. Yeah, it takes a little practice or whatever, but if you're just sitting there and you're just like going, okay, ignore the microphone, let me talk over here. In fact, when you're talking, we can have someone stand over here.
Yeah.
Or that may be too, like, and you're just, I know you can do this, or you can just project yourself over here and say, okay, I'm going to talk to that spot on the wall or something like that. Take a breath. Don't be afraid to do a line because we're editing.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do a line, right? So here's the next part, is we have this script, right? And like I could have a script talking about your daughter. I'm making this up because I don't really know your daughter. Your daughter is 6. She likes to play outside. She likes to go to school. That sounds like 3 different concepts.
Yeah.
Whereas that's all one concept.
Yeah.
Your daughter is 6. She likes to play outside, and she likes to go to school.
Yeah.
Although I separated each of those out, I didn't say them like, here's your next line, here's your next line. I went through and I went, oh look, there's 2 lines here, I understand this. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to say it with pauses as if it's a whole concept being communicated.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. And are you comfortable standing in our pretend sound booth?
Yeah. Oh, I do have one question. I think that's really good about always kind of giving me like the overview. Are we going for the same style, like chipper informative, or whatever?
Yeah.
Upbeat,
Upbeat.
informative. Okay.
Upbeat. Yeah. And because you're speaking from, or will be, or attempting to do, I don't know what's going to happen, from your diaphragm and you're talking more like this, it tends to add more depth to your voice. Like if I'm talking like this and I'm talking to you and everything else and I talk from my diaphragm, then it tends to so it ends up being a little more serious. You find that's happening, then we'll just stop.
Okay.
We'll stop you and we'll just say, hey, let's just ramp up the emotion a bit.
Okay.
Because this thing doesn't record emotion either.
Right. So you have to have emotion.
You have to have emotion or imbue it with emotion. Some people are over the top with emotion. You have to calm them down. Most people, you have to have them ramp it up.
Yeah.
And the last thing, which is really hard, is coaching yourself. You will kill yourself.
Okay.
If you're going, oh, I didn't do that so well, and maybe I did the next one, and well, maybe I should do that over, and oh my gosh, am I breathing? Well, that one wasn't from the diaphragm, and you do all that stuff. It's really hard to do and just disconnect yourself and just allow someone else to do it.
Do it for you. Sorry.
Because I am also being the recorder when I'm standing over here listening to you, and I'm going, wow, that was great. And you're sitting here going, no, I didn't like that and everything else. Then you'll start pulling your voice in. You'll start pulling your emotion in. And instead of looking and sounding out there, it does this little magical creeps into your body and then you just explode in a million pieces. No.
Yeah.
Follow all that?
Yes.
Was that too much information?
No.
Okay.
Maybe the exploding part. No, I was kidding.
The exploding part. I'll film that if you
Yeah.
explode. And you looked this over, right?
I did.
So you kind of looked it over and read it. Did you read it out loud or not really?
No, I just grabbed. Unfortunately, when you guys gave it to me yesterday, I've been so busy that I just saw it, but I didn't read it. I read it just now as I was walking over. So it was like a first time. Like,
Yeah, that's
cool.
fine.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you had read it out loud or not.
No, not yet.
So we'll do like one, and then we'll stop. We'll have you do another one and possibly a third one. That isn't because you messed up.
I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
You're getting takes because you're gonna piece it together and it might be like, oh, this part over here and this part over here, and then
We're getting takes. Yeah. I know you know what you're doing, but probably the person over there watching this doesn't.
okay.
So we're
Judging you silently.
we are judging you, whoever you are watching this. Cool. No questions? Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
This gave her confidence that her research was done correctly.
She's so good. She really is
And you really
good.
don't have to tell her to do another take differently.
No, not at all.
It's
She
like
just does it and it's really good.
Oh,
I am, by the way, as a note to future people that you'll probably be working for the guy behind the camera. His name is Nathan. Yeah. And he'll fire you if you screw up.
Get back to work.